It's time for a Kev Quest. So, this is a nice tribute that I'm doing right now, even though it's perfect timing for doing this. So, Bugs Land was a big thing back in California Adventure. So that was a nice little tribute to as well. And then also, recently that just closed recently is in Walt Disney World was It's Tough to Be a Bug. So Tough to Be a Bug in Disneyland was its debut back then, was back for ever since California Adventure first opened back in 2001, which was really cool, and then closed its date on March 19th, 2018. Pretty close dates, technically. And then Disney World closed, their opening date was technically April 21st, 1998, and then March 16th, 2025, which was this year. So going back to, Bugs Land, aka, was a fun adventure themed land. It first debuted back in 2002, a couple years later after its opening day of Disney California Adventure, and it first started open, like I said. Tough to Be a Bug was one of the first area, and it was pretty smart that how they designed this was actually really cool. So they had broke the stem of the leaf, like the sticks and like a tree almost, with a leaf attaching to it. I think that was really clever to have the sign like that. Was actually really, really clever. So here's a picture of that now. That just looks really cool, and how they did it with the branches and everything, and tying all that with the leaves and stuff, which I think was a really cool idea to that. The ride that was a fun one for me was actually, so we'll start with one of the rides first, is Flyers. Flix Flyer was kind of like one of those rides that spin around in a circle. So that ride was actually really, really fun. My favorite part of it, just looking back now on the pictures, was the Casey Jr. one, because it's just a really fun cart, and that was just always the fun one to be in. The ride that was kind of like a mini attraction, but not really a ride, was Princess Dot's Puddle Park. So this one was actually really cute. I saw kids going in this a lot. It's like a water thing with a hose connection to it as a hose thing. I think that was actually really cute, in my opinion, on there, because I think it was actually really clever because that whole lane, it looks like you're shrinking your size into an ant, which I think was actually really cool. You see it as your garden hose there. But my all-time favorite ride goes to the Heimlich Choo Choo Train. Heimlich Choo Choo Train was one of those rides out there that actually got to do the adventure of eating food. But my favorite smell of that whole time was always the cookie part, animal sugar cookies. That was a great part being in there. How times I smelled it was fantastic. But that's just my triggering on there. But the other one I gotta say was really fun was Francis Love Ladybug Boogie. It's like another teacup ride, which I was okay to. But that was just a fun ride on to there. And then the other one was from Disneyland, was in Bugs Land, was Tuck and Roll's drive-in buggies. They're kind of like bumper cars. At first, I was a little young when I first stepped into it, but as an adult, probably now, it worked better for me, trying the attraction. But that's just really cool, fun stuff on there. But with a Bugs Land being gone over so many years now, and Bugs Land was actually such a fun land. The main entrance with Flick, Princess Ladybug, and Heimlich and tuck and roll on the leaves, which I think was a really beautiful entrance to walk. Was such a beautiful way to walk underneath that sign every time. And Bugs Land is, sadly say that this was not a long run as the It's Tough to Be a Bug in Disney World, but it in a Bugs Land which opened in California Adventure debut opened in 2002 and is closed on 2018. It's been closed, and since then, Bugs Land's only been there for 16 years, and Disney's California Adventure, which is kind of like sad. I wish it was like 17 or more years to it, but pretty cool to say that was a really cool, fun run from there. And then Disney World, It's Tough to Be a Bug. So, unfortunately for me, I never got to see this in Disney World, but I've been to Disney World twice. But the first round was, I didn't get to go Animal Kingdom the first round. Second round I got to, but never experienced the going underneath a tree. So hopefully with Zootopia Better Together, I think I'm actually going to say hoping one day I get to go in that again, which is kind of cool. Which is the newest attraction, technically, for Animal Kingdom, which is going to be really fun from there. But back to the subject, It's Tough to Be a Bug had some really fun quotes. They also did this in Disneyland too as well, which was the fun segment was if I can go back to it, was they had some really, like I said, they had some really fun posters to it, which was Beauty and the Bees, which I think was like Beauty and the Beast. The website story, which is like West Side Story, which I think was really clever. And then the Chili was one of the performance in the show, which he was actually really cool. Like, he was a tarantula, but like he was buying things on the show, which I think was actually really cool. And then one of the other posters I thought was interesting is the Doug and I, which is a reference to The King and I. But they had so many cool posters and everything to it. But no further ado, I'm going to do a short mini, not based on the I'm going to do a video background of the stuff. But I'll put pictures on there during the segment. But here it is now. But here it is to you guys now.
From buzzing, stinging, and pollinating. And no chirping. Thank you. And now, put your wings together for the host of our show, everyone's favorite ant, Flick!
Fireflies! Fireflies! Up here! No, over here. Way over here. Way over. Little more. Little more. Little less. Perfect. Oh, and hi. Hi. Hello. And welcome. Welcome to our show. You know, we've been doing this act for over 300 million years. And with bugs making up more than 80% of the animal world, we're the biggest cast of them all. Still, you guys just don't seem to see us. So, that's why we gave you the special bug eyes. Now, go ahead. Put them on. Neat, huh? Yeah, no, now you're all honorary bugs. So, on with the show. Okay, thanks, little fella. You're done now.
Huh?
Just slide that way. Off into the...
Me?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
Take it from an ant. It's tough to be a bug. That's why we've developed some amazing survival techniques. For instance, deep in the jungles of South America, there's a bug. Well, technically, he's an arachnid, you see. And Chili, I really hate when you do that. I really... I hate.
Oh, I'm sorry, Flick.
Well,
Nico.
where was I? Yes, Chilean tarantulas, like my friend Chili here,
Hello.
throw poison quills at their enemies with deadly accuracy.
I never miss. Oh! Come on, keep them coming, keep them coming. Chili's on a roll.
Hey! What are you guys trying to pull?
Whoa! Hey! Watch it! You're messing up my act. Hold still.
Bug off. Oh, hey! In case you hadn't noticed, Four Eyes.
You missed. Here, no one makes a fool of Chili, man. Come back here and die like a bug.
All right.
So, I only want to do half of it, but I know there was more to the show. But, like I said, I got to see it in Disneyland probably 5 or 6 times. But I know it was cool seeing it in California Adventure. But this show has been missed. And I know that Disney World just finally got rid of theirs not too long ago. But, the interesting part about the show is that when you get a bunch of, you wear the 40 glasses, which was really cool as bug glasses, which was really fun to wear. And then, they also did some really cool fun, for the, like the wetness coming to you and like stuff in front of you as well. The effects to it was great. The animatronics for Flick and Hopper was super cool and unique to it. And the other thing that was really interesting was the very last thing that they said was, please remain safe, please, because you don't know if, like, and then the bugs come and tickle you underneath you. Which I think, but the trick was, I sit before, the trick was for me, I just stood up just a little bit so they didn't get me at all. That was my little trick on that, but, like, that's my little spill on there, But it's tough to be a bug. It's finally no longer in Disney World, which is kind of sad to hear as well. But it ran 30 years in Walt Disney World and Animal Kingdom, which is actually really surprisingly that show survived really well over there. But like I said it before, and I'll say it again, that It's Tough to Be a Bug arrived in Disney and Animal Kingdom on April 22nd, 1998, and then closing date for that was March 16th of 2025, which was 3 days ago, which was Sunday. So, that was my fun adventure telling you guys about A Bug's Land and It's Tough to Be a Bug. But, sorry to say this, but, I'm sad A Bug's Life is not around anymore. But, like, great times, great things from both parks from Animal Kingdom and California Adventure. But that's just my fun adventure telling you guys about this and like how I feel about this in my opinion on there. So, hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a notification on if I'm posting any videos. Leave the comments down below. And see you guys next time only on CapQuest.